Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a current favorites. So for each category, all the way from primer to lip gloss, I'm going to give my favorite high-end and drugstore product. And this is just my favorites right now. Obviously it could change in a month, but it's just my favorite products in each category as of right now. So if you're interested in seeing all of my favorite products at the moment, just keep watching. Few things I want to touch on before I start this video. So in my last video, when I opened my BoxyCharm, I mentioned the shampoo bar that I used and told you guys I would give you an update on it. So it's been a week since that video. I've used that shampoo bar twice since then. I mentioned in that video I wasn't super crazy with the shampoo bar to start off with, but I have used it 2 more times since then, and I did want to say that as of right now, I'm really enjoying it. I feel that at this point, it's doing more of what the product description said that it was gonna do. It takes time to notice those things. So now that I've used it a couple more times, I just wanted to update you guys and say that I do really like the product. I'm still not crazy about how it's a bar, like a bar of soap, but as for the product, I really am enjoying it. I just wanted to touch on that real quick before we started this video. So to start, we're going to start with primer, of course, and I'm going to start with drugstore products first. So my current favorite drugstore primer, I'm not even sure if this is drugstore, but it's It Cosmetics. I don't have a drugstore primer that I love, like L'Oreal, Maybelline, any of those brands. This is the It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better Primer and Oil-Free Makeup Gripping Base. And I have just a tiny little test tube of it, but I really like this product. This is my favorite primer for my dry skin. It leaves a lot of moisture on my skin. It doesn't leave my skin feeling sticky. It really smooths my skin out and gives me a nice clean base before I put my makeup on. Now for high-end primer, my current favorite high-end primer, again, this is another travel size product, but I really like purchasing like the sample size, the travel size products before I purchase the big thing, especially with high-end products. But this is the Tarte Quench Primer. So it comes in this cute little packaging. So again, this primer pretty much does the same thing as the last primer that I mentioned. I just like a very hydrating, thin primer. I don't like it to be too oily. I don't want it to be greasy or sticky, but I want it to be kind of like a moisturizer to just put more hydration on my skin and just give me a good base for my foundation, and this primer really does a good job of doing that. Now we're moving on to foundation. So I couldn't pick just one product. I really wanted to do just one, but both of these foundations from the drugstore I really love. The first one is the CoverGirl Outlast All Day Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation. I've used this foundation for years and I have loved it just as long as I've been using it. I have multiple shades in it based on the different seasons and based on whenever my skin tone changes. But I've been through probably like the last 3 times that they've changed the formula and the packaging, and every time they change it, I still die for it. It's a foundation that does a very good job at not being too cakey, but not being too minimal. It gives you good coverage without being very overpowering, but it still gives you enough coverage to be able to tell that you have foundation on and make your skin look better than it does usually. My next foundation from the drugstore is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. And I know what you're thinking, you're probably gonna say that I have mentioned in every video that I've filmed so far that I have very dry skin and I am recommending a matte foundation. But this foundation is not bad on my skin at all. It's not overly drying on my dry skin, but this foundation does say on the bottle that it's recommended for normal to oily skin types, and I definitely don't have oily skin. But sometimes there are days where I don't want a super dewy foundation, or I just want to be more matte, and I will use this foundation. In my last video that I filmed, I was actually wearing this foundation in it, and to be honest, I haven't wore this foundation in a while, and I tried it out for the first time again in probably months when I filmed that video, and I have fallen in love with it all over again since I put it back on, and I would definitely recommend it. Even if you do have dry skin, you could try it out. But I know they do have another one that's for dry skin, and I don't own that one, but I would like to try that one out too. Moving on to my favorite high-end foundation, the Smashbox Studio Skin 15 Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. is my favorite high-end foundation. It gives me a natural look, which is what I prefer in a foundation. There are many people that would prefer a very high coverage foundation. I like that it does have buildable coverage. That way I can put just one layer of it on my skin, and if I want more coverage in certain areas or across my entire face, that I can continue to apply this foundation on top of itself and it not be super cakey. So moving on to concealer, I don't have a drugstore concealer. I really haven't tried out a lot of drugstore concealers, but if any of you guys have any recommendations, I would love for you to leave me a comment down below, and I'll be happy to try some because I would love to find some that are cheaper that work just as good as the expensive ones that I have. But my favorite high-end concealer, and it's really the only concealer that I use in general, is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, which I've used in multiple videos now. But this concealer is perfect for me. It's very lightweight, it's not thick, it's not dry. But I do feel like this concealer has good enough coverage for anyone really. It's definitely buildable, but I like this concealer just based on my preferences. So I can build it up if I want to, or I can apply one layer of it. Moving on to face powder. My favorite drugstore face powder, the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Setting Powder, which again is another matte product and I have dry skin. But either way, I like this powder and I've hit pan on it. It's definitely very used. I don't really have to worry about applying too much of this powder because applying too much powder can obviously be a problem. But I can apply just a thin layer of this powder, which, like I've said, I have dry skin, so I don't usually set my whole face anyways. I just set my under eyes and typically my nose area, but I do like this powder for those areas. And for high end, I actually don't use like a compact setting powder. I actually will use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. I will use the yellow shade and this lighter shade. So I'll use the yellow shade under my eyes, and then I'll use the lighter shade just across my face and on my nose areas. So I'm just going to talk about bronzer. When it comes to contouring, a lot of times I will use the contour kit that I just mentioned, but typically I don't really do a very defining contour. I just do typically a bronze. My favorite drugstore bronzers are the Milani Baked Bronzers. This bronzer has a little bit of shimmer to it. It has some sheen to it. It's not matte. And a lot of times I don't like that, but I really like the way that this bronzer does it. It gives a nice glow to the skin. I like to combine this product when I use the foundations that are a little bit more matte and not as dewy, just to add some glow back to my face. I would definitely recommend this bronzer. I recommend Milani products in general. I love Milani. I have a couple other products that I'm going to mention by Milani throughout this video too. My favorite high-end bronzer, this was a very close call. I was mixed between my Hoola bronzer by Benefit or my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. But I decided to go with the Hoola bronzer, but I live by this bronzer. If I had to pick one between the Too Faced Milk Chocolate bronzer and this one, I would pick this one, but I do love both of those. The Hoola bronzer is perfect for my skin tone. Really quickly, I do want to mention that I'm going to leave all of these products that I've mentioned in this video today in the description box below, but I am going to be honest with you, nothing on my face is any of these products. But I'm also going to leave everything that I'm wearing on my face in the description box as well. Moving on to blush, my favorite drugstore blush is also another one of the Milani Baked products. So it's just the Milani Baked blush, and this is just the one I grabbed out of my drawer. I have multiple shades of these. I love all of the shades that I have. I'm not a super big dramatic blush person, but I love these blushes. They are super cheap and they are definitely worth the money that you spend on them. My favorite high-end blush is the NARS blushes. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. They might just be referred to as NARS blushes. But I absolutely live for these blushes. I think every shade of these is beautiful, and every other shade that I've bought of this after I bought the first one, I have still absolutely fell in love with. This has been my favorite high-end blush for years now. As of right now, the NARS blushes are most definitely my favorite high-end blushes. Moving on to highlight, my favorite drugstore highlight, which this is a Morphe product, so it's technically not drugstore, I don't guess, but Morphe products are super cheap, so I consider Morphe products drugstore products. This is the Morphe High Impact Highlighter Illuminator. So this is the only shade I have in this, and I busted the lid on the corner. In my last video, I was also wearing this highlight, and I loved my highlight in that video, but the Morphe High Impact Highlighters, I love them, just point blank. My favorite high-end highlighter is the Becca Champagne Pop Highlighter. And again, I have this in a very tiny size. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, I like to buy smaller versions of product before I buy the whole thing. And this product is fairly expensive, especially compared to the Morphe highlighter. But the Becca Champagne Pop Highlight is very popular on YouTube. It has been for a really long time. I think it's a highlight that almost everybody has. But I really recommend this product. If you don't have it, I would definitely recommend spending the money, even though it is a little bit more expensive. Over every highlighter that I have, drugstore and high-end, this is 100% my favorite highlighter. Now on to eyeshadow. So this was very difficult picking an eyeshadow palette, just one eyeshadow palette from the drugstore and from a high-end brand. So for drugstore, it is another Morphe palette. If you guys have any drugstore recommendations for me at all, I would love for you to comment them down below, because I would like to broaden my horizon on drugstore products. But anyways, this is a Morphe palette. This is the 15H Happy Hour palette from Morphe. This palette is just beautiful. I love this palette. It's definitely got my tones in it. I am definitely a very neutral eyeshadow girl, but this palette is definitely right up my alley, right up what I prefer, and I would definitely recommend this palette. It's definitely inexpensive. You just can't buy it at the actual drugstore. My favorite high-end eyeshadow palette is the Tarte BU Naturally palette. So again, this is a very nude-based palette, and it's just what I prefer. I have been trying to go out of my comfort zone and wear a little bit different eyeshadow than what I normally wear, but again, the neutral palettes will still always be my favorite. I think it's well worth the money. I love all Tarte eyeshadows. It's probably my favorite high-end eyeshadow brand in general. So for eyeliner, I don't have a drugstore or a high-end one that I want to recommend, just because I don't wear eyeliner a lot. I have a lot of different eyeliners, but I don't ever use them. I don't use them enough to actually give you guys my favorite ones, so I'm skipping over that part. Moving on to mascara. So I have both of these that look pretty much the same. So I'm pretty sure that the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise, which is this one from the drugstore, I'm pretty sure that it was made to be a dupe for the Better Than Sex mascara. So this is both of the wands held up beside of each other. This one is the L'Oreal and this one is the Too Faced. And the wands look almost identical. Even the packaging on the L'Oreal one is extremely similar to the Too Faced one. The packaging on the L'Oreal one is a lot cheaper than the Too Faced one, obviously because there's a big price difference. And the wands and everything look the same, but I would definitely say that the formula is not exactly the same. Now from the drugstore, the L'Oreal one is still my favorite drugstore one. Honestly, probably just because I'm biased, and it's a dupe for the Too Faced one, and the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara has probably been my favorite mascara since middle school. It's really the only mascara that I've used in a really long time. Now today I'm actually wearing a different mascara for the first time in probably months. The L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise is just not as good as the Too Faced Better Than Sex. It does the same things, but I will say that the Too Faced one definitely gives me more volume and more length compared to the L'Oreal one, but I still think that it is a good dupe. If you don't want to spend the money on the Too Faced Better Than Sex one, then I would still recommend the L'Oreal one, because they both are very similar. They pretty much do the same thing, but I'm still going to keep spending the money on the Too Faced one just because it's the one that I prefer, and I feel that it's just better. But obviously you spend more money, so you're more than likely going to get a better product, which is not always the case. But the L'Oreal one, I still recommend. I still do love both of these mascaras. Moving on to eyebrows. So my eyebrows are pretty full as it is. I don't do a lot to my eyebrows at all, other than just go get them done. But when I do something to my eyebrows, when I do a full face of makeup, I like to do something to my eyebrows, because sometimes I will see that they do look a little off because my eyebrows aren't done at all and my whole face is done. But typically all I do is just apply some brow gel. So I just use the Brow Bar brow gel, which I have in a very tiny tube because I don't do my eyebrows often, so I don't buy the full-size product. But I do really like this eyebrow gel. A lot of times brow gels can feel really thick and they can make your eyebrows feel, I don't really know how to explain it. I'm sure that a lot of you watching know what I'm talking about. But they just can make your eyebrows feel really rough and just really stiff. Like when you change facial expressions or something, you can just feel them, that they feel like they're painted on. But this brow gel does a really good job at not doing that. This is a pretty thin brow gel. It is my favorite one that I like to use in my eyebrows. My eyebrow hair is very thick and very coarse, So I like a brow gel that's not too thick since my eyebrow hair is already thick, but I do really like this brow gel for my eyebrows. Okay, so the fact that I'm even about to say this honestly kind of bothers me. I do not own a lip liner. To be honest, I just recently have gotten into wearing lipstick. I've never been a super big lipstick person. I've always just worn lip gloss, or if I have wore lipstick, I've never used a lip liner. If you guys have any drugstore lip liner or high-end lip liner recommendations that you guys prefer, please leave them down below. I have been using the Lord & Berry matte crayon lipstick. This is a lipstick, but it's shaped like this, so I've been using it as a lip liner, but I really like this product. So I guess technically this is not me recommending a lip liner. This is just a product that I really like that I use as a lip liner, but again, it's not a real lip liner. Moving on to lipstick, my favorite drugstore lipstick is another Milani product. So this is what the lipstick looks like. I have a few different shades of this lipstick. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this lipstick is called. I just pick it out from the drugstore based on the packaging, but it doesn't have a name on it or anything, but again, it'll be in the description box. I love this lipstick. It is, again, another product that is not too drying on me. This Milani lipstick just has a very good formula. It's not a liquid lipstick or anything. It's just your typical normal lipstick. But again, like I said, it's not dry whatsoever and it has very good pigmentation. So if you're looking for a cheap lipstick, I definitely recommend the Milani lipsticks. Moving on to high-end lipstick, the Kylie Cosmetics matte liquid lipsticks. So I have, again, another little tiny tube of it. Now that I'm actually wearing lipstick, I wish I would have actually bought the lip kits. But when I bought all of these liquid lipsticks, I bought like the packs that they come in where you can get them for a cheaper price when you get like 5 of the mini ones all together. So that's how I bought them, and I have a ton of them, but I'm at the point now where I realize that I don't have any matching lip liners to go along with them. Now that I've realized that lip liner is a good thing and I do need to wear lip liner when I wear lipstick, I was very scared of the matte liquid lipstick thing just because I felt like they were going to be so dry, and I've tried a ton of them and a lot of them are very dry. They crack on my lips and they don't look good whatsoever. But the formula on these Kylie Cosmetics one, I absolutely love. They're not drying whatsoever. They don't crack. I will say that I still have to touch it up sometimes, but I just feel like that's honestly with any lipstick. Again, I don't have a lot of experience in lipstick. Moving on to lip gloss. This is another product that doesn't have a specific product name. It has the shade names on it. It looks like this. One of my favorite things about this product is the applicator, which honestly is probably going to look really gross on camera. But the applicator on this product I really like. It's not super sticky. I don't like wearing a lip gloss that I can't rub my lips together and it not feel like chapstick. Obviously, a lip gloss is always going to be a little sticky. I mean, you're not going to be able to put lip gloss on and ride around in your vehicle with the windows down and your hair not get stuck to your lips. That's just part of wearing lip gloss. This is a very good, cheap lip gloss. My favorite high-end lip gloss is another Kylie product. The name of this product on the packaging is just Kylie Jenner Gloss. So this is the one that I have. But again, this is another lip gloss that is not super sticky, super thick. It's thin, but it still has good pigment. You can still see it. I have never tried a Kylie lip product that I didn't like, but the lip gloss is probably my favorite product by her that I own. So the final product is setting spray, and I don't have a drugstore setting spray. I do want to try out the Morphe setting spray though, because I've heard a lot of people talk about that. But I only have the Urban Decay De-Slick setting spray, which again is another setting spray that is for oily people and not dry people. But this is a setting spray that says it's for oil control. Now, I still like this setting spray just because I feel like it makes my foundation stay and not move all day. But I don't feel like it leaves me dry or anything. I think that just because it's for oil control doesn't mean that people with dry skin can't use it, because it's still a spray. I feel like it's not something that's gonna make your skin super dry if you already have dry skin, but I really like this setting spray. Okay, so that is all of the products in each category, drugstore and high-end, that are my favorites at this time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know there wasn't a lot to it. It wasn't any kind of makeup tutorial or anything fun, really. I just thought you guys might be interested in seeing the products that I love the most. But if you did enjoy watching this video, please like this video and leave me a comment down below letting me know any other videos that you guys would like to see from me. I've had a few people mention to me doing vlogs, so if that is something that any of you would be interested in, please leave me a comment down below and let me know. We are like on lockdown with all this quarantine stuff right now though, so it's kind of difficult for me to do a vlog actually going somewhere and doing something. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of vlogs you guys would want to see. So if you guys can let me know at all if that is something that you'd be interested in, then please just leave me a comment. Also, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. If you want to follow me on social medias, my Snapchat is al.tate, my Twitter is alanytate with 2 E's, and my Instagram is just alanytate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Period. God. Oh God, I can't forget which one's which. Oh, the caps are different. Let me get myself together because what is happening? Why do you look annoyed? Am I annoying you? I'm sorry. You're lying. You don't even know what I'm talking about. Okay, bye.